Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, we have more on the Giannis trade situation to get to, including a team in the Western Conference that could be looming as a potential facilitator or even a potential destination. Plus, did the Cavs just make a trade that could help them come out of the Eastern Conference? All of that and more on today's Locked On NBA Daily.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Wes Goldberg. Today, we're talking about the latest on the Giannis trade front and a three-way trade that took place over the weekend between the Cavs, Kings, and Bulls. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer at the Action Network, Matt Moore. Matt?
Was that Nuggets Thunder last night? It was, I wouldn't say a great game because of how the Thunder dominated, but it was a real statement performance from them. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was absolutely sublime last night. If you want to understand why Shai is a great player, if you're just like, he's just a free throw merchant, go watch last night's game. He did take 13 free throws, but go watch last night's game and you'll understand why.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleach Report, it's Haize.
Unlike me and Wes's teams that played each other 3 times over this weekend, we give total effort every single show.
That's right. Yes, we do. Matt, we don't have time to get into that Thunder Nuggets game because we have so much trade deadline stuff to get to here, but is your takeaway just Shai? Is there anything else that we could potentially take away from what could potentially be the Western Conference Finals here? There's so many guys who were hurt for that game.
Yeah, there's each team, it's like this back and forth where it's like Nuggets fans are like, we didn't have Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson and Christian Brown, and the Thunder are like, we didn't have AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams. And it's crazy that I'm saying AJ Mitchell before Jalen Williams. That's how good AJ Mitchell has been. I think AJ Mitchell might be 6th man of the year, by the way, or Alex Caruso. So it's like this big back and forth. A lot of tactical stuff that I think is really interesting. One thing I will tell you, if you're going to be the Thunder, you got to put 5 weapons on the floor. If you have 3 weapons and 2 non-weapons, you're dead. So you got to put 5 weapons on the floor at all times. And Jokic has not been able to figure out how to beat this team yet.
We will talk about on the court basketball at some point, but it is NBA trade deadline week, and we have to start with the latest on the Giannis trade front. According to latest reporting, it's still the Heat, Warriors, Knicks, and Timberwolves that are being mentioned as the most aggressive suitors before Thursday's trade deadline. Shams reported this morning that the Bucks are making counteroffers and do seem motivated to try to get something done here before the deadline. But over at Locked On Bucks, they're not impressed with what the reported trade packages that these teams can offer could potentially bring in from Milwaukee. Here's more from them.
I just don't think these trade packages are compelling. I acknowledge that I am a Bucks fan, but if Atlanta was actually like offering the New Orleans pick and Jalen Johnson, or you could argue even like not Jalen Johnson, but I mean, unfortunately, Risa Shea is like obviously,
but like the New Orleans pick multiple picks,
including like a premium, like unprotected, really high pick this coming loaded draft. Like if that was in play, then like, oh, okay, like that's a really compelling deal given the scenario. And like I would totally understand the Bucks saying like, you know what, if Giannis is like basically saying he's out of here, then I couldn't fault the Bucks for taking that deal, right?
Haize, we kind of know what the reported offers are, or at least what we think the reported offers are right now from the teams that have been mentioned as the most aggressive of the Giannis trade suitors. But do you agree with the folks over at Locked On Bucks that these trade packages are just underwhelming at this point?
Yeah, but I mean, welcome to the modern NBA. Once everybody kind of knows that you have to trade a player and you're on the timeline to do it, you're not going to get a jaw-dropping offer anymore. That's just not really going to happen. The best thing that you can hope for is you do get a promising young player and that you get draft picks that give you more bites of the apple. And that's really the most I think the Bucks could hope for. So, yeah, the trade offers, the deals that we're hearing that have been rumored, they're a little bit underwhelming to what Giannis has been over the course of his career, but he's above 30. He's going to have to get paid this offseason, which a lot of teams are looking at as well. And on top of that, he's had 5 calf injuries in the last 15 months. So there's a lot of reasons why those offers aren't crazy either.
I wrote a big thing this weekend. I wrote my Substack about kind of like why I understand why Bucks fans are kind of holding their heads a little bit indignantly at this, and about like the complicated nature of it, about how not wanting to let go of the Giannis era. If we talk about the market value, though, this is where stuff starts to go completely haywire, where what you can't do as a fan is you can't be like, well, Mikal Bridges went for 5 picks, so Giannis should go for 10 picks and 3 All-Stars, because that's how good he is. Okay, cool. Here's the problem. The teams that are in position to trade for Giannis, who want to compete for a title, don't have picks because they've already traded those picks to put themselves in contention to be a playoff team and or a title team. The Knicks added Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns to make themselves into a title contender. So they don't have the picks to be able to send you. The teams that do have the picks, like the Golden State Warriors and all their future picks, don't have any players that you're going to want. And they actually have negative value players. So you're going to be stuck with those. To me, this continues to be a question of, if I'm Milwaukee, I have one goal. And it's not draft capital. It is, I want to find who's the guy that I'm going to walk away with when everyone's like, man, they did a great job in that trade. They got this guy. Because do you think everyone really talks about the Clippers picks in the Sam Presti, Oklahoma City, Paul George trade? Who do they talk about? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. When the Pacers traded Domantas Sabonis, Tyrese Halliburton. You got to trade for that guy. Trade for a guy you know is good, that's young and underappreciated. You have to do your work and find a guy that you're like, I think this guy, now leave yourself out in case you're wrong. Get the picks too. But that to me is like the only way to really kind of go about this.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of hindsight. Like, nobody thought Shai was going to turn into this. Like, they knew Shai was a talented player, but they didn't think Shai was going to turn into this. And even Halliburton had shown flashy. Like, that's why, them hearing that they want a young player back. But I think if you go into it saying we need to find our Shai in this trade, it's probably not. When you try to repeat it that way and force it, it rarely happens that way for you. That may not be what ends up hitting.
That's how I feel about the picks, where it's like everyone goes in, it's like, you can get the number 1 pick when Steph leaves, and then it's like, oh, you got the 15th pick, and you drafted a veteran forward that was gone in 4 years. And that's what you wind up with. But
the Warriors pick has a very slight chance to be there. Like I said, like, even if Steph resigns, like, we're already seeing it. Giannis is already slowing down. Like, the first 2 years of those picks, like, okay, yeah, they may not be great, but by 2031, after not having picks in 2026 and 28, it's not like they're going to completely rebound from then and be some juggernaut of a team or the Warriors. They're already not that now. Like, the Warriors could technically not do anything, and those picks would still be great right now.
We don't have a history of this working out with a team getting a number 1 pick. We do not have a history of that. And if you're not getting a number 1 pick, what's the point?
I mean, the Thunder's picks weren't all number 1 picks, and look how many of those guys. It doesn't have to be the number 1 pick to be great. You have to do your research, do your due diligence, and yeah, there's some luck involved. But let's not act like it has to be all the number 1 pick to end up with a great player at a good draft position.
I want to jump in here because this is one of the reasons why the Trailblazers are being mentioned now in some of this just recent reporting, because they own a bunch of these Milwaukee picks. After the Damian Lillard trade, they have a couple of swaps. They have some of those Milwaukee picks, and so if you're the Bucks, it does make sense. Like, look, we have no idea if the Warriors will be good or bad, or the Heat will be good or bad, or the Timberwolves, or the Knicks, or whatever. We kind of know we're going to be pretty bad. And so to have our picks back, we can at least be in control of that. But we have an additional wrinkle here. According to Mark Stein over the weekend, maybe the Blazers just want Giannis for themselves.
I know the Blazers are about to make the biggest splash they've ever made. The biggest trade in Blazers history, acquiring the best player to ever wear the uniform. Well, according to the Stein line, in a report published on January 31st, that's on Saturday, the Blazers not just want to be involved if Giannis Antetokounmpo gets traded. They don't want to just be facilitators. The Blazers quote, the Blazers' efforts have since gone beyond that. The Steinline reports. That's Mark Stein and Fisher. Portland, I'm going to read you the direct quote here. Portland has also expressed its own interest to the Bucks that it would like to acquire Antetokounmpo, even as the Blazers realistically understand that it would be an extreme long shot to convince Giannis to sign a contract extension that keeps him in the Pacific Northwest.
Giannis, Portland, thoughts, Matt? Oh, Haize, go ahead. You're ready to jump in.
This would be the craziest thing to happen if the Blazers, who traded Dame to the Bucks to get these picks, turn around and trade these picks to get Giannis, and they already have Dame back on their team as well. It would be the craziest set of
Andrew Holiday.
Yeah, Andrew Holiday. It's wild. It's crazy.
I will start you with this fun fact. In a very underreported move over the weekend, the Portland Trailblazers traded for Vit Krejci from the Atlanta Hawks. Wes, do you know who Vit Krejci's agent is?
Is it Alex Saratzis?
It's Alex Saratzis, Giannis's agent. I like this idea more than I like the others. It doesn't make them a contender, right? Like if you add Giannis, you're not winning the title this season. But you have runway here where you have expiring contracts, veteran players, young guys, and you would still have your pick equity to be able to make adjustments if you just trade the Bucks back their future. Like there's runway here for Portland to be like, hey, it's not really Dame, because the Dame Giannis thing honestly didn't really work. The bigger thing here is just like we have Denny Avdia and we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Stop us from getting to the rim and getting fouls. Stop us. We dare you. You surround them with shooters and you've really kind of got something. Defensively, they're going to be a menace. Giannis and with Tumani Camera. Come on now. Like the athleticism is absolutely ridiculous. They're missing a lot, right? Like I'm not saying that like they don't need like transformations. This summer would be an absolutely huge one. But when I look at the kind of offers, if you go to Milwaukee and you're like Scoot Henderson, Jeremy Grant, who you can flip, will give you, I'm trying to think who else, like Time Lord's expiring. If you want clear cap space, which I don't know if the Bucks want, and the pick equity, man, like all of a sudden, like that starts looking like I like that idea a lot more than the Golden State Warriors. Here's Jimmy Butler's corpse and Jonathan Kuminga. Like I like that idea a lot more. I like this idea quite a bit.
It would be fascinating to see Giannis end up in Portland. And then obviously you have the big question, would Giannis want to re-sign in Portland? And, you know, maybe this is a situation where you say, who cares? We get Giannis for a year, kind of make a run at this thing, get out of some of these. I don't know. Who knows? We've seen crazy things happen before with these superstar trades. Meanwhile, we did have a three-way trade that actually happened over the weekend that could impact the race in the East. We're going to break that down after this. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than on PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And this week, PrizePicks is a special max discount for the big game. Live in the app right now, Drake May just needs one passing yard for the max discount to win. Add another player to your lineup, and if your picks hit, you cash in. PrizePicks is super simple to use. It takes no time to get started. The whole format is clean. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and that's it. It makes watching games even more fun because every drive and every stat matters. The social feed feature is awesome. You can share lineups and even copy lineups from winners with one click. And I love that now you can follow PrizePicks partners like us and tail or fade picks right from the feed. So download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube. We air Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. We did get a big trade over the weekend with the Cavs sending DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings in exchange for Keon, Ellis, and Dennis Schroder. Haize, your Bulls got involved by helping facilitate this deal. As a third team, they got Dario Saric's expiring and then 2 second-round picks. We'll touch on the Kings and the Bulls here in a second, but I do want to start with the Cavs part of this because they get a guy that in Keon Ellis that seemingly everybody wanted. Here's more from Locked On Cavaliers.
The gist of this trade from a Cavs perspective is they're trading DeAndre Hunter and a second-round pick in exchange for Keon Ellis, who I think was a top target not only on their board, but on a lot of boards across the NBA. I heard that over 10 teams had made offers to Sacramento for Ellis, and the Cavs are the ones that have won that bidding war, and Dennis Schroder. I think both guys can help. We'll talk about why that is, why the DeAndre Hunter experiment just did not work in Cleveland, and why I think that the Cavs are probably not done making moves before the trade deadline on Thursday. But let's talk about the guys they acquired, because Keon Ellis has been one of the bigger names on the market, but it's been a weird situation because he's not exactly in Sacramento's every night rotation, and the Kings previously kind of fired Mike Brown because Brown wouldn't play Keon Ellis, and it's like been a very weird ride in Sacramento. And I do think that it's fair to say this guy couldn't play for the Kings. Why would we expect him to come in and play for the Cavs, a team that entered this season with championship expectations? And I think that would be a fair thing to say if the Kings weren't the Kings. Right?
So there's the breakdown from Danny Cunningham over at Locked On Cavs. The big question here is Keon Ellis, right? Can Keon Ellis, the guy that was one of the most sought after players on the trade market going into this thing, is he the kind of guy that can make a difference for the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference, Matt?
He can. Like, he's a good defender, good shooter. He can give them good minutes. I have like a lot of thoughts on this. I will try and keep it brief. Everyone, the shortcut is exactly what Danny said. Everyone's like, well, no, he's good. It's just the King. So here's my problem. Mike Brown, who we all admit is a good coach, has coached a long time in this league and done a lot of good things, didn't play him. And Kings fans wanted him fired because he wouldn't play Keon Ellis. Doug Christie's going to play Keon Ellis. And Doug Christie was the exact opposite of Mike Brown. He tried to change a lot of things from Mike Brown. Got worse at a lot of things. And he didn't play Keon Ellis. If two different coaches don't think this guy can play, why are we going gaga over him? I'm just asking the question. I think that's a concern here. It depends on if Atkinson will play him, right? Like, he's so attached to Sam Merrill. Like, I want to see them deploy more defensive lineups. That's what I want to see. But the Cavaliers never really do that with Atkinson. He's always like, or hear me out. I'm going to put undersized, non-athletic shooters on the floor at all spots. How about that? So a lot of this is like, it's a good trade. It gets them closer to the apron. I have other thoughts on why that might be. We can get to. But overall, like, yeah, Keon can be pretty good and Schroder can dribble inside the paint. That's pretty good.
I like this move for the Cavs because it's not like I don't think they're going to be looking for Keon to play like a super big role for them to play 25, 30 minutes. I think what he brings with his defense ability and, out in transition is exactly kind of what they need at some turns there. So I think he can work out for the Cavs. Matt makes a great point there in regards to the number of minutes that he plays, but I don't know if the Cavs with the players that they have there need him to play a whole bunch of minutes. So I think that concern is a little bit mitigated for them. They still have to make a decision long term, but I like this move for the Cavs. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, this is this like the Evan Turner Memorial overrated Eastern Conference trade of the year? Like, do you remember like years ago when the Pacers traded for Evan Turner and everybody was like, this is going to make the difference in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be able to beat the big three Heat now. And then Evan Turner barely played for them in the playoffs. We saw this last year, by the way, with DeAndre Hunter going to the Cavs. Everybody's like, oh, that's the big trade that could set the Cleveland Cavaliers apart in the Eastern Conference. And I don't know. I like Keon Ellis, but this idea that all of a sudden he's like the missing piece, it just feels like we get one of these every year in the Eastern Conference. We're like, this is the role player.
Yeah. I like DeAndre Hunter. Like, Hunter actually played great for them last year. And then for some reason, he just didn't start him versus the freaking Pacers and went with Sam Merrill. And then on top, it's like, oh, but he was bad this year. Okay, he had a bad stretch, but we know he's a good shooter. We know he could score. He's actually had a really good month. And Hunter, by all accounts that I've heard, was really unhappy in Cleveland and just didn't want to be there. Like, this new opportunity might be a really good buy low spot for the Kings if they can move off from literally anybody else. Wes, I got to ask you, they're within range of being under the apron.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people aren't talking about this. Like, everyone's like, oh, they did this just for Keon Ellis. I think they did it because you do these moves because it's like, hey, we could do this other thing, but if not, we still got this really good move. But like, if they get under the apron, they got a lot to offer the Milwaukee Bucks, and they got a lot to offer the Bucks in a three-way deal. I'm just, every team that does anything right now, I'm keeping an eye on what does this mean for Giannis,
right?
Because until Giannis gets sorted, everyone is looking at it. No one's putting it off the table until they have to.
Well, hey, the Chicago Bulls got 2 second-round picks out of this. Are they making a move for Giannis?
No, they're not.
Hey,
I don't care what the betting odds say. They're not making a trade for.
Big Bet came in on the Bulls this weekend to get Giannis.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How big of a bet?
Not that big of a bet.
Oh,
it's a low liquidity market.
Hey, how's your bank account looking right now? Was it you?
Me. Wasn't me. I don't bet.
Inside information we're working on here. Any other thoughts on the Bulls' perspective on this, Haize? It was pretty. I know the Bulls played a very sort of tertiary role in all of this, but what does this mean for Chicago? They get the Saric deal. They get the couple second-round picks. Did you like it?
I liked it for what it's worth. Like, AK has not made a lot of moves where he stacks assets and uses the cap space or expirings that he has. It's great for that, but I mean, unless another move's coming to where you're using those 2 additional seconds in something, it's an okay move. You got a couple of extra seconds there. Cool.
Hayes, 3 options: keep Kobe, keep Io, or keep both of them. What do you want to do?
I mean, as it stands right now, I'd rather keep both of them because I don't think the trade value's there for Kobe, and I don't want to let Io go at all. That's where I'm at right now.
Io torched the Heat this weekend, several times.
It's really funny because every team is like, yeah, they're really interested in Io DeSumnu, and it's like, cool. He's affordable and good. The Bulls' favorite type of player.
Well, every team that just missed out on Keon Ellis, I would be calling up Chicago right now and being like, here's our package that we would have had for Keon Ellis. Would you take it for Io DeSumnu? I don't know if the Bulls would, but if I'm another team, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, here's what we were offering for a guy who 2 different coaches wouldn't play. How about this guy that you guys actually value?
And DeSumnu, I think, is just better. I think he's just a better player. And
I'm surprised Trey Jones doesn't have more because Trey's been killing it on both sides of the ball. And it's an $8 million contract, 2 more years, very cost effective. I'm really surprised we don't hear more about Trey.
I agree.
Weekend winners and losers coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast, without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. I pulled up the Game Time app, I picked an upcoming NBA game, and I had tickets locked in within minutes. I loved seeing the all-in price up front. That means no surprise fees. At checkout, what you see is what you pay. Being able to get the seat view from my seat before buying made the decision easy, and I did it with confidence. Plus, the zone deals stood out. Choose the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save. Great last-minute options, too, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices. Everything on Game Time feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today, and remember, it's gametime.co, not gametime.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. February can be a lot. Flowers, candy, stuffed animals, and so much talk about relationships. It can honestly feel like everybody else has it all together in their love life, but here's the truth. Whether you're married, dating, single, or just focusing on you, most people are still figuring it out. And no matter where you are in your romantic journey, therapy can help you find your way. It can help you get a clear idea of what you want, what feels heavy, and how to take some pressure off yourself. It's easy to assume that everybody has the quote-unquote perfect relationship, but most people are working through something. Therapy can help you recognize patterns that might be weighing a relationship down. It can help you communicate better, set healthier boundaries, and stop carrying everything alone. And even if you're not in a relationship right now, therapy can help you feel more confident in what you want moving forward. The biggest thing, it reminds you that you are not behind, you are right on time. BetterHelp is licensed therapists in the U.S., and they do the initial matching work for you. So you can focus on your goals, and if you want to switch therapists, you can do that at any time. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. Check out Locked On Bucks, Locked On Blazers, Locked On Bulls, Locked On Kings, Locked On Cavs for more on today's top stories. It's Monday, which means we're going to end the show with our weekend winners and losers. Matt, we'll start with you.
Winners, the Denver Nuggets get Nikola Jokic back. Christian Brown upgraded to doubtful. He's close to returning. They're going to get somewhere close to being back to full health, even with that loss to the Thunder. That's a pretty good one. The first-time All-Stars, Jamal Murray, Denny Avdia. A lot of guys got their first-time All-Star nods.
Norm Powell.
I'm sorry?
Norm Powell.
Yeah, Norman Powell, who I am genuinely happy for because I think Norman's had an underrated career as it goes. The Hornets getting that win over the Spurs. I thought that was a really great win for them. They continue to be great. And the other winner, New York Knicks, who have put together a stretch of absolutely terrific defensive basketball. I don't believe it because they're defending with Jalen Brunson on the floor, which I don't think is sustainable, but they've been pretty good. So those are my winners of the weekend.
Haize?
Losers of the weekend. Me and Wes, because we had to watch 3 games of absolutely terrible basketball. We're very big losers this weekend.
It ran right into the Sunday night one. Ran right into the Grammys. I was like, I would much rather be watching this.
I missed UFC for that. UFC. But winners. Shout out to the All-Star reserves. I'll give it to them. Shout out to everybody who's named as an All-Star reserve this weekend.
LeBron James named as an All-Star reserve. It's his 22nd All-Star appearance. He's a big winner. For me, the loser is Nico Harrison, who for some reason is getting sideswiped this weekend because it's the 1-year anniversary of him trading away Luka Doncic. We couldn't just leave dead enough alone. Nico Harrison no longer working for the Dallas Mavericks, but still it's being brought up 1 year later. Hey, remember that awful trade that you made? So yeah, Nico Harrison, just don't go on the internet.
Just by the way, in case on this day in history, you suck.
Right. Yeah. The annual Nico Harrison sucks day. Do we think that okay? My other loser is I hesitate to even call him a loser. Is Kawhi Leonard, who kind of got snubbed for LeBron James as a Western Conference reserve.
Boo hoo.
I'm with you. I just think it's worth having that conversation.
Can I ask this question? All right, let's have the conversation. That team sucks for 2.5 months.
Yep.
And we do this where it's like the recency bias. I don't understand how everyone's kind of aware of the term recency bias, and then everyone just plows ahead and dives into recency bias. Like, this is for the entire season. Yeah. And for a vast section of it, the Clippers have sucked, and Kawhi was not doing anything. He's had an incredible month and a half, and an unbelievable red hot supernova month and a half, which is great for him. But like, it's LeBron James. Let's like reward the guys on winning teams. Let's reward the good players. Go plant some trees and you can come back.
To me, this is all karma, Haize.
Yeah, it is. Like, here's the thing. Like, recency bias is one of those things that people are going to acknowledge, but acknowledgement and correction are two very different things. People acknowledge it all day long. They're never going to correct it. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard, there you go. Sit at home. Like, you look at it. Look at a stay deal. Like, you do the same thing that you did for aspiration. Just don't show up.
Do you want to watch Kawhi Leonard in an All-Star game? Because Jamal Murray
I want to watch an All-Star game, Matt. Yeah. I don't care who's in the All-Star game.
Jamal Murray, by the way, said he was going to go hard in the All-Star game. And I'm like, yeah, until you get in that locker room and they tell you what's up. And then 2, credit to Jamal Murray, who was like, it's great. I'm really happy. Like, my dad was really excited for it. My teammates, everyone, my friends. He was like, to be honest with you, I kind of want all NBA. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah. Nothing says you've never been in the All-Star game more than saying that you're going to try hard in the All-Star game.
It's true.
Yeah. Right. I will say one loser, Joel Embiid. Like, he's putting together a really great season here. I know it's a little bit recency bias, but you look at the stats, 26 points on 49% shooting. The rebounding is there. The assist numbers are there for him. He's playing really well lately. To your point, it's probably a little too late. But if he keeps playing like this, I don't know that I'll be eligible for All NBA, but his stats will certainly be there by the end of the year. But a little bit of a snub. I kind of felt bad for him because his comeback here has been one of the better stories, I think, in the league so far.
But the good news is that with the international format, it's going to be great because he can play for the international team for Cameroon and then just switch and change at halftime and play with Team USA because apparently you can just do that whenever you want.
How many passports does he have now? Like 3?
Yes, many. It's totally. By the way, I don't really care. It's totally fine that Joel and join USA. It's fine.
If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA Daily wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.